Welcome back to the Highline Podcast. Hit that button.
Yeah!
Let's go!
You can't do that.
I can't get it right.
Shut the f*** up and let me talk.
I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
You're only young,
But you're gonna die. Proceed to party.
Ooh, are you ready, Riley?
What did he say?
Go Tigers.
That's incorrect.
Go Cox. I think that might be the best one we've ever done. That was good. I like that.
I'll follow you out of the dark. I tried it my way, but I keep falling apart. All that I see is the wickedness around me. I refuse to believe the apocalypse inside of me. I can't even trust myself. I'm burning in my skin, standing at the playoff cut line, but nobody will let me in. I follow you out of the dark. I tried it my way, but I keep falling apart. I follow Shane with all of my heart. I'm tired of my ways, cause I keep falling apart. I killed that shit, cuz.
I mean, it's a little rough, but I mean.
Nah, I killed it. I kind of messed it up.
The
Because I
playoff
meant to
part.
say, I'll follow you out of the playoffs. I just said out of the dark. Oh, well, it's good enough. Fuck, Ross. Come on, man. You choked it away. You fell apart. That one's for you, Ross.
Yep,
That
he
one's
did.
for you. Rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace, Ross Chastain. NASCAR 2025 playoff chances. Cheers. Bush. His sponsor.
He's still in it, isn't he? Kyle Busch? He's still in it, ain't he?
He got a fighting chance, I think, to maybe not get top 20 or maybe getting top 20 in points. Oh man. Well, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I might have sung. We might have sung that song before.
I don't think so. I know I haven't. I don't know that song well.
Like we
enough to
started
fix
singing
it.
songs every week on this podcast from like what midway through season 1.
I think it was season 2.
No,
we
we
started
sung
it-
some in season 1. We
Was
sung
se-
a lot at the end of season 1.
Did we start season 1 here? Like
Here?
not here, but was season 1 when we moved here and in the bedroom? Pause.
What are we talking about here? Yes. That's
That
season
wasn't season 2?
1. No.
I thought we did a full season at your dad's place.
We only did like 2 episodes at my dad's house. You crazy as hell. How
Dude,
bad is your memory?
It's pretty bad.
Apparently.
You believe in me.
So we probably sung 168 episodes. Take out about 20 of them. We sung about 148 times on this podcast. So that song might have been
And we're
one
still
of the
terrible.
148. So if we did a rerun, I know we'll do one eventually. I think you did one earlier in the year, but
That I've done twice.
yeah. So, but it happens, you know. There's just not a lot of good songs out there, so we got to.
I mean, there is. It's just
There-
hard. It's hard to fucking
Yeah.
find them.
It is. I thought that one went well though. That went well. Fit pretty well. I was gonna sing. I got 5 on it, but I couldn't make it work.
I got 5
For Shane
on
winning
it.
5 in a row on road courses, but I couldn't really get that together. I'll work on that for next year when Chase Elliott wins 5 straight races or something.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Sure.
But he won 5 races in fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome back to the Highline, episode 168. Trent Davis and Riley Embree back at you with the action. Post Roval. Riley, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Would you get off your fucking phone?
I'm trying to look up news.
Breaking news. What we have?
This is the Herdline News. Now, I'm trying to get the, we're going to be talking about some stuff later that I want to quote directly. So,
How do you put it in?
yeah. Before I put it in, I smack her ass. What? That's a song. What's that song?
Is it really?
Yeah.
4 a.m. I'm just getting started.
That's
For
it.
my birthday, I threw myself a surprise party. I didn't say that right, but it'll work. All right, I'll go, I guess, since you're fucking twisting your dick and stuff. I'm doing all right. Worked all weekend. I'll see the race on Sunday. Didn't go quite as well as I wanted it to, but I can't really complain. Past 2 weeks, I've had both my guys win. So a week where Chase and Blaney were both pretty solid, and Chris was really good. Chris is probably the best one out of all of them. Although I think Chase had a really good car, but they were trying to they tried a strategy just for the win, and it just didn't work out for him. So I think Chase had a really good car too, but Chris had a really good car, top 5 all day. Blaney was, won a stage. He was Edge, top 10. You know about Edge.
On this day.
So all my guys ran pretty good. Obviously I wanted Ross to get in the round of 8, knock Joey out. It's my prediction. It looked like it was going good there for a while, but just last couple laps, one couldn't hang on. 22 didn't do nothing spectacular, but that's a knife.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
Cutter, sharpener
Yes, it is. That's what I want. I want the knife.
in your ass.
Sure.
So yeah, that didn't. That was entertaining to watch at the end, but it's just kind of the one didn't have nothing left, and I'm not shotgunning a beer today, which is weird. 2 straight weeks, I was getting good at it, and thought we were gonna have 3 in a row there for a second with Chris, and but nothing. Nobody had nothing for Shane. Larson and Bell were pretty good, but
couldn't keep up with him.
yeah, they couldn't keep up with them. They couldn't keep the rear tires up like Shane could, and these drivers are finally showing a lot of frustration now that they still can't beat Shane. So they gotta figure something out.
This is
they can't do what he does, but they got to figure out a way to counter it.
Early 2000s DEI level dominance on super speedways.
Well, the difference is Jeff Gordon that would get in their way.
That's
There's
true.
nobody getting in Shane's way right now. Yeah, there's nobody really. Getting in Shane's
Kyle was
way.
in his way there for a minute. They were bumping and beating and banging.
Bush?
Yeah. Pacheco.
Kyle Pacheco.
Who's Kyle Pacheco?
I don't know.
He works with me.
Oh. I was like, I think you're talking about the Kansas City running back.
That's
Isaac.
Isaac Lowenkron.
Who?
He works for Fox Sports Radio.
How about Mark Sanchez? How he doing?
Hey, speaking of knives, you can't do that. Yikes.
Get the fuck out of my spot, you old ass man. I'm glad they're both okay.
Call an ambulance.
But
not for me.
But Mark Sanchez, you can't do that.
Anyway. Damn, what was I talking
If you don't know, look it up.
Yeah, there was a race at the Roval this weekend.
Yeah, there
but
was.
yeah, I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. won like 14 straight super speedway races in the early 2000s, and Shane's doing the same thing. We didn't put this on the rundown, but quick discussion.
No.
Shane Van Gisbergen is the greatest road course racer in the history of NASCAR. I said it fucking 3 wins ago. He's won 2 in a row since then. Are you coming around to this?
I'm coming around. I'm still not there, though.
You're wrong. He's just proving my point. If this was a strictly road course racing series,
y'all have to take.
If this was a strictly road course racing series, I think Shane would win 30 out of 36 races.
Maybe.
And the only reason he wouldn't win is if somebody wrecked him or he broke. That's it. On straight speed, nobody can touch him.
But that's a what if game. What if?
Look at the stats, bro. He's the GOAT.
What he has done is very impressive. I'm not going to lie.
5 in a row.
But Chase Elliott did this from 19 to 20, 4 in a row. He just now broke that. And nobody was saying this about Chase Elliott. So let's calm down.
No, they were.
No, they weren't.
They were saying he's one of the best of all time.
Yeah, clearly, if you win 4 straight road course races and you have 7
road
course wins,
how many
clearly.
Jeff win in the 90s in a row? 6?
6, yeah.
So if he wins another one, is he better than Jeff? Or does he have to win more in a row?
Well, he has to win more in a row. I just want to see it for a longer time.
He's a rookie. This is his first year.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
And he's already won 5 in a row. He's only going to get better.
I'm probably.
He's the GOAT.
He is
Back.
trending towards,
Back.
yes, being the greatest road course racer in NASCAR history. I'm not
Anyways.
arguing that, but he's not there yet.
The Roval.
And he's not. The accomplishment is hell of impressive. I'm not arguing that. But we're not too far away from recently seeing this.
Again.
When a driver and a team gets hot at road courses like Chase Elliott did in 2019 and 2020, and they got hot, and nobody could beat them for a while.
The difference is Chase Elliott was winning those races.
And he's winning ovals.
Yes, but the difference is, again, Chase Elliott was winning those races in the best car, and Chase Elliott was also winning those races.
Really, when Hendrick was at his lowest point, when he was the only guy worth a damn.
It's still better.
in a rebuild.
It's still better
They were in a
than
rebuild.
It's still better than what Shane's got.
Before they had Kyle Larson.
But
A young William
anyways,
Byron
that's
and
fair.
Alex
Okay,
Bowman
maybe it
that
wasn't
was-
the best car, but it's still a better car than what Shane's driving. And
Probably, yeah.
additionally, he also wasn't winning these races by fucking 15, 16, 17, 26 seconds.
There's a couple that he put ass whooping on the field.
Yeah, I mean, Watkins Glen was the first win. That was a good race.
I mean, Truex is breathing down his neck.
Truex was there.
19 next year was the same thing.
Yeah,
Truex breathing down
it
his
was
neck.
close. But anyways, I digress. The Roval this weekend, pretty decent race for the Roval. I said it on the TikTok.
And you got to think the road course racing back in the Gen 6 era, you had way more wrecks because the cars were harder
Sure.
to drive and it was better racing.
Sure.
So you had a late race restarts
Sure.
that Chase had to deal with sometimes. Like the Daytona road course in 2020. He was out by like 10 seconds over Denny Hamlin. Then you had a caution late. And he only won by like half a second because there was a late race caution. Shane hasn't really had to deal with that all year. He had to deal with that one time.
When Chris beat him.
I'm talking this year at Sonoma when he had to hang on
And he won.
against Briscoe.
Yeah.
But
And
I think that's the only time he's had to deal with a late race caution.
And he had it last year, which actually helped him because he wouldn't have had a chance at Chris if that caution didn't come out.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Roval this weekend, I said it on TikTok, a review of the race. Probably the best Roval race I've seen, especially in this next-gen car, but in a while. I thought it was a pretty decent race. Some passing throughout the field, mostly to do with tire wear. Little bit of comers and goers. There were some guys that started in the back that kind of migrated their way towards the front. Some guys that started at the front that kind of fell back a little bit towards the middle and into the race. But still not great. Still not super impressive. And the finish, I think, is going to help this race a lot with the 1 and the 11 and the 22 and how all that worked out with cars coming across the line backwards, throwing it in reverse Terry, and the playoff implications. I definitely think are going to help this race out in the grand scheme of things. But Shane Van Gisbergen still won this race by 15 seconds. And that was with Kyle Larson body slamming him and not letting him pass when he probably should have. And that was with Shane Van Gisbergen losing a right rear tire. So Shane Van Gisbergen still put a fucking ass whooping on the field. He pretty much led every green flag lap that wasn't, in the middle of a pit strategy. There's certain parts of the race where Kyle Larson was winning or Christopher Bell was winning or, who else was in the lead because of pit strategy. But based on speed, nobody had anything for him, obviously. And it's not his fault. I mean, that's his job. He's supposed to go out there and do that. But, it makes the race a little less interesting when you know who's going to win before they, cross the fucking green and white checkered at the end of the first stage. So, 6 out of 10. Pretty decent race. Like I said, not anything to write home about, but not anything to be disappointed with either. If they're going to race at the Roval, this is probably the best that you can expect, in my opinion. But I think the Xfinity race, which we'll talk about in RTT, was way better than this. And I also think that a 500-miler on the oval would be a better race than this. But if they're going to race at the Roval, this was decent enough.
Yeah, it was all right. Tire wear mattered. I think that's what separated this race from all the other next-gen races at this track. it was still wasn't a great race in my opinion. I give it a 5.5 out of 10. 5. It's an average NASCAR race. The drama at the end obviously made it more intriguing and on the edge of your seat. We were watching it in here in the garage before I had to go to work Sunday, so that made it. With Shane blowing everybody out at the end, that made something to watch with Ross and Joey, and if he can hang on. And when Joey pitted, that was you said at the time that was a stupid move by Joey, and Ross fell a couple of spots back, and they were about to pit, and I was like, I don't know. You said the one shouldn't pit. I said they probably should have. Put Ross on offense, and he winds up losing by a couple points, but he only he needed one spot, lost one spot to Denny at the end, and that's the spot he needed to advance, and it wound up costing him. And he throws that Hail Melon move on Denny on the last turn, and obviously it didn't work out. So it was just another Roval race. It's probably the best Roval race since 2021 that we've had. So that's a positive. But I think that's mainly just because the tires wore out really well, and you couldn't just drive the hell out of it 100% every green flag run, every lap, or else you paid for it on the back end. And that's what makes Shane so good. At the back end of these runs, he takes care of those rear tires better than anybody else in the field. Everybody else just loses grip as the run goes on, loses tire wear, and the way he drives, he can keep it. So that's what makes it so difficult. It's like he puts on new tires while he's still running out there. So it's just really hard to beat them. But these guys got to figure it out. I know Christopher Bell's frustrated. Larson's frustrated. All these guys are frustrated because they can't figure out how to beat them. We only lost one road course race this year, and that was at COTA. We're kind of just missed it that day. So he can go to COTA next spring and tie Jeff with 6 straight. I don't know if he will. It's like COTA is his chink in the armor, it seems like, in the NASCAR road course section. But we'll see how that goes. But overall, 5.5 out of 10. It was just average. Obviously I didn't want Joey to make the round of 8, and he did. Some of that is luck. Some of that is good strategy by him and Paul Wolf. But really, it was all about the one falling apart. If Ross doesn't fall apart, Joey is nowhere close to making the right next round. And it's not the same as Alex, failing post-race inspection and Joey getting in off a failed tech inspection, just move one spot up. But it's not too far away from it. Joey, it ain't like Joey drove up there and took all those points away from Ross. Ross gave it to Joey. Now, Joey did a good job of hanging on, but I think it was more about Ross falling apart than it was Joey coming through in the clutch. And Joey took advantage of it, and it seems like Joey is always on the right end of that lucky cut line bullshit. And I've said this before, if it happens to the same person enough times, it's not
luck anymore.
It's not luck that much anymore. It's skill. But the way Joey does these things, a lot of it is luck. But there's skill involved as well. So I'll give Joey credit and Paul Wolf credit on that. But it just it's frustrating because I think Ross Chastain has done better than Joey Logano this year. I think he deserves to be in a round of 8 more than Joey, but he didn't execute on Sunday, and you can't blame nobody but Ross, and that mainly Ross, not even the one team. The one team gave him a great car, top 10 car, top 5 car maybe. That one car was really fast, and Ross just gave it away at the end. So that was frustrating to see.
Well, looking at the playoff outlook going forward, I disagree with you a little bit. I think Joey deserves the round 8 just a little bit more.
How?
I think he's a better race car driver.
That has nothing to do with this year.
I think he's a better team. I think he's more likely to win the championship than the one car. So
yeah, based off this stupid format.
You got to race the format the way it is. And, Joey's a poster child for a lot of people to say, well, this is why we don't like this format. But if it was, Chase Elliott that was lucking into these things, people would love it. So It is what it is. It's just because it's Joey that people dislike his
I don't think
his
it's
part of
100%
this.
true.
It's a lot of it. I don't like the playoff format either. That's obvious. But people kind of give Joey. It's kind of like Denny. No matter what Denny does, it's going to be wrong. No matter what Joey does, it's going to be wrong. So I do think Joey's going to be better this weekend at Las Vegas. I do think Joey's going to be better at Talladega. I do think Joey's going to be better at Martinsville. And I do think Joey's going to be better than Ross at Phoenix. So I would rather see Joey in that position based on this format. So anyways, with that being said, got Joey Logano 24 points out. He is in last place and 8th. Chase Briscoe is 14 points out. Chase Elliott is 14 points out, 6th and 7th. And then Christopher Bell is 4 points out. Above the cut line, William Byron, 4 to the good. Kyle Larson in 3rd, 4 to the good. Ryan Blaney, 6 to the good and 12th. And Denny Hamlin is leading the points right now, 8 to the good. So obviously, round of 8, nobody's safe here. Joey's got a lot of work to do. He's essentially in a must-win because the guys in front of him are all going to be super competitive at the next 3 races. It wouldn't surprise me if any of these 8 guys won the next 3 races. It wouldn't surprise me if any of these 8 guys won the championship, to be honest with you. It's just getting to Phoenix now is what's really important. So I think this is going to be one of the closer round of 8s that we have. I do think Joey is in the worst position, and he's probably the worst out of the 7 ahead of him. He's got some work to do, but it would not surprise me. He won Vegas last year. Granted, it was lucky. It was lucky, but he did win Vegas last year. He's been really good at Talladega and Martinsville in the past, so he's got a chance to win one of these races, but I think he's going to have to. And I think Briscoe and Elliott being 14 points out, they got to be nervous too because, unless Christopher Bell, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, unless those guys have some bad days, it's going to be tough to make up 14 points on them because they all run around each other. So making up 14 points is going to be difficult. So you're going to have to hope guys have bad days if you don't win to move up. Christopher Bell being 4 points out, that's a lot easier to overcome over 3 races, which none of them are mathematically in a must-win, obviously. But it's going to be difficult for Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, and Joey Logano to advance without some help. So going to be really exciting to see these next 3 races. I think Vegas is going to be a really good race. It was a pretty decent race in the spring, pretty decent race last year. Talladega is always interesting this time of year, and then Martinsville, depending on how tire wear goes and what the racing looks like, that'll still be interesting because it is a cutoff race. So I think it's shaping up to be a really interesting round of 8, and we'll see. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, I get Joey's in a not the best position. Obviously, minus 24 behind all the top guys that run 1st to 7th almost every week. More than half of them do, so that's why they're in the round of 8, obviously. So I think Joey's already almost in a must-win situation. The chases, I think Elliott isn't because of how consistent he is. And Briscoe's pretty consistent as well. He's gotten a lot more consistent throughout the year. But I think I'm more nervous if I'm Briscoe in his position 14 below than I am Elliott 14 below. Just because the 9 team knows how to – that's what Chase Elliott's the best at, being consistent. And 14 points is not end-all, be-all. Like, you can make those points up, especially if a team has a bad race here and there. And I think that's possible. I think you'll have one or two of these guys fall on their face possibly at Vegas this weekend. I don't know who that's going to be, but I think that'll happen. And then if Chase is just Chase Elliott, 5th to 7th, he'll be fine to be able to point his way in if he doesn't win at any of these 3 tracks. So I feel decent about Chase. Not the greatest, but I'm feeling better than I would have 6 weeks ago because I've seen enough consistency out of that 9 team now and winning speed the past 5 weeks or so that I feel pretty good about the 9. The 20, I feel pretty confident about him. He's great here at Vegas. I think he'll be one of the favorites to win. He's been on a roll like Cottonelle.
He's made for all that shit.
Is he made for all this shit? We'll see. I think 20. I think he's in a decent spot. I don't trust the Hendrick boys though. Larson and Byron. I know Larson almost won last week. That's the first time I've really seen winning speed out of that 5 car in a while. So and we ain't got no more road courses left. So, Larson is historically amazing at Las Vegas. If he's not, he might be in trouble because Talladega and Martinsville is not his best tracks. He's won at Martinsville in the past in this next-gen car, but it's not his best track. I think I would trust Denny over him at Martinsville. I trust Chase over him at Martinsville. I trust William over him at Martinsville. I trust Ryan Blaney.
He's the worst at Martinsville out of the top 8.
Probably. So, I think the 5 got a lot of pressure on this weekend to perform, and I ain't seen it enough consistently. And then, Blaney and Denny, they've been the fastest 2 cars all year most of the time. Blaney scares me with the up and down season he's had, but he's been really hot the past 2 months. So as long as they keep that up, he don't have to win a race. If he runs 3rd every week, he'll be fine, and I think he can. Talladega's a scary one. It's a wild card one. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen there. That's where these points, you say it could be a close points battle, could get way out of hand.
Yeah.
Going into Martinsville, and you got 3 guys that have to win.
Got a big one on lap 10, and 6 of the fucking playoff guys are in it.
Yeah, so, it could be really close. Talladega could make it really close, or it could make it, impossible to gain points, and you just all about winning at Martinsville. So we'll see how it goes, but I think it's 3 distinct tracks. I like the format in this round. I like it. Talladega in the round of 8, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's entertainment. It's entertaining, and that's what NASCAR wants. So, but hopefully it's the last time we got to deal with this shit like this. Last time we got to talk about a playoff cut line, and at least in this format, the way it is for a championship 4 berth. But Vegas, obviously, the most important race of the year, other than Phoenix. So it's important to show up. I think the 20, the 12, the 11, or not the 11. 11 struggles at Las Vegas a little bit. So I wouldn't count Denny to win the race this weekend, but Bell, Blaney, Larson, Logano, because I think he has to run really well here. They'll be a problem this weekend, but should be fun to see. I can see it going either way, but I'm leaning towards it might kind of get out of hand just because of Talladega. And then you got 2 or 3 guys that have to win at Martinsville to make the championship 4.
Well, with that being said, my championship 4 might surprise you.
Logano, Denny,
Nope.
Byron, and Bill.
No. Denny Hamlin.
And 1 out of 1.
Ryan Blaney.
2 out of 2. Oh, no, I didn't say you used to have Blaney.
Christopher Bell.
Oh, yeah, that's a shocking fucking Final 4.
And Chase Briscoe. I think Briscoe's the one that might surprise some folks.
This would be an awful Final 4.
You'd have Blaney in there.
Oh, yeah, that'd be it.
And Blaney's going to be a problem at Phoenix, so that's good for you. But
it's not a great chance, so 1 out of 4, 4th of a chance. I'd rather have half of the chance.
Yeah. But the reason I'm picking Briscoe, the other ones are kind of obvious. Denny's probably been the best, as far as speed goes all year. Blaney's been the best past 2 weeks, or 2 months, excuse me. Larson, like you said, not really had winning speed since Charlotte, since before Charlotte, the 600. Byron, kind of the same thing. He's been struggling in these playoffs. And you got Christopher Bell, who's going to be very good this weekend, going to be very good at Phoenix. Just got to get there. So, but Briscoe, I think, is the most consistent over the next 3 tracks. Better than Larson at Talladega, better than Larson at Martinsville, and as far as the 1.5 miles go, he's been better past couple months there too. So I think Briscoe's gonna do very well these next 3 weeks. I think that team is a championship caliber team, and I think they could do it. I think the Toyotas are going to be tough to beat this weekend and at Martinsville. So that's why I've got him in. As far as the other guys that are missing it, Chase Elliott, yeah, he's been consistent, but he's been consistently like 9th throughout the year. And I don't know if that's going to be good enough to make up 14 points.
Not recently.
Not recently. But his 2 wins, you could say he probably shouldn't have won Atlanta. And where did he win a couple weeks ago? Kansas. Wasn't the best car at Kansas either. So he's kind of, granted, give him credit. Put your car in a position, and good things happen. Usually, unless you're Brad Keselowski. For some reason, nothing ever good happens when he's in position to win races. But he...
or all that Penske luck.
Yeah.
Done worn off.
But I just don't know if 9th is going to get it done for Chase Elliott. And that's where if he ran 9th this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised. If he finished 9th at Talladega, I wouldn't be surprised. And if he finished 9th at Martinsville, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be surprised at Martinsville if he ran 9th. That'd be a low for him.
Yeah, I mean, but
he always runs top 5 there.
And but maybe top 5 is not going to be good enough at that point. So Joey Logano, I just hadn't seen the speed out of that car consistently enough. Now, granted, we said that last year. You never know. He could, run 40 laps longer than anybody on fuel this weekend again and win the race.
Don't put that into existence.
You never know. But and then like I said, William Byron, Kyle Larson, just haven't showed the speed recently. I don't have any confidence in them. To be super competitive top 5 cars because they just have not shown it. Chase Elliott's been the best car at Hendrick for the past couple months. Just too much competition for those guys.
I thought you would never say that.
He has.
I got to pinch myself. I must be dreaming.
So, like I said, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, and Chase Briscoe. 3 Toyotas and a Ford.
God. It'd be awful. All right, my championship 4. Go with YRB. I think he's been the most consistent driver. Not most consistent, but I think he's been the fastest driver all year right there with Denny Hamlin. And 3 tracks where, Vegas is not Blaney's best track, but it's a solid enough track. I think he can, as long as he runs top 10, I think he be job well done. Talladega scares me, but Blaney's amazing at super speedways as long as he stays out of trouble, which I know that's the main thing, But I think he can. Talladega's usually been his better super speedway over Daytona. He just won at Daytona last month, so I think I have good enough about him. And then Martinsville, he's almost unbeatable in the fall there. So if he doesn't win Martinsville, I think he'll do enough in points to where if he runs 2nd or 3rd at Martinsville, he'll still make it in on points. My second guy, Christopher Bell, I mentioned him earlier. He's getting hot at the right time. Won Bristol, almost won at Kansas. He's shown a lot of race win. But was top 3 at the Roval. One of the only guys that can compete with SVG. I just have a good confidence in that 20 team right now. They're getting hot again, like they were at the beginning of the year. They kind of went through a lull there in the summertime, and they seem like they've got their footing back again. So I think Christopher Bell will make it to Phoenix yet again after he got cheated out of a championship, from what he said last year, but who have redemption this year. And then my third guy, I'm going with Chase Elliott. It's kind of the one that's out there. I don't feel great about it, but the 9 team is the fastest I've seen them be since the 2022 season. And we know what happened in 2022. Made the championship 4, won the regular season championship. Almost, should have won the championship, but this format did not allow him to. So, Vegas, I'm worried about. It's not his best track. This is the worst track for him. But at Talladega, he's always up there in contention at the end. And then Martinsville, it's probably his best track. It's going to be a battle between him, Denny, and Blaney at Martinsville. It's going to be a hell of a battle. I could see Chase win at Martinsville in the fall. He almost did last year. I couldn't quite hold off Blaney at the end, but I think he has the capability to find something to. If he has to hold off Blaney to make the championship 4, I think he can. So, going with Chase there, and then my last one. This one might surprise you. I'm going with Kyle Larson.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a problem this weekend.
That guy stinks.
I'm thinking
about picking him this weekend. So
fuck off, don't please. I think he's good enough. He's gotten better at super speedways. He's been pretty decent the past few races at super speedways. Again, it's kind of a lot of it's luck. But Vegas, he's always great here. And then Martinsville, he's gotten a lot better. Like he finished, I think, 3rd or 4th last year in the fall. He won the spring 2023 race. To be fair, it was a terrible race, and tire wear didn't matter at all. Tire wear matters. But even last fall, when tires mattered, he was up there trying to battle Chase, trying to hold off Chase Elliott. And Blaney couldn't do it, but he still finished 3rd or 4th in that race. So he's gotten a lot better at Martinsville. So I think the 5 car, they'll do enough at all 3 tracks. If he doesn't win at Vegas this weekend, which I think he has a great chance of doing, I think they'll do enough to where they can make it in on points. And really it comes down to I trust Kyle Larson in a pressure situation more than I trust Denny Hamlin because it's between those two. I just don't trust the 11. I trust the speed. I don't trust the pit crew. The pit crew is fucked up all year. The driver sometimes messes up, gets in his own head. Denny does that from time to time. Chris Gabehart or Chris Lambert. Which one is it now?
It's not Gabehart.
Okay, it's Lambert.
I guess.
Whoever it is. Or is it Chris Gale? Whoever the fuck it is. Chris something. Chris Buescher's his crew chief. I just don't trust them to execute properly. And you go to Vegas, I don't think they're going to be great.
It's
Gale. I don't think they're going to be great. And you had this tension from this past weekend of, what the fuck, why didn't you tell me all this stuff, blah, 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 about the one needing a point and stuff like that. I feel like that's a chink in the armor. I don't think it'll affect him too much. But Vegas this weekend has never been Denny's best track with this car. He always starts out slow at this track. So I think it could kind of snowball for the 11. Have not a great race this weekend. Finished like 10th to 12th. I could be wrong. Hey, I've been wrong before. And then Dega getting a wreck. We're fucking 20 points below the cut line now. We got to go win at Martinsville. We can't fucking beat Blaney or Chase. Then they finish 2nd or 3rd at Martinsville and lose out to those guys. So I trust the 5 a little bit more. Historically, that's what it tells me. But it's close. I think Denny will be faster at Dega and Martinsville. I just don't know. Obviously, I think Larson will be better at Vegas, and I just don't trust the 11. So I'm going with Larson there. So my championship 4 is Blaney, Bell, Elliott, and Larson.
Well, you talk about distractions and getting in your own head with the 11 team. Some more news has come out this week about the lawsuit between 2311 Front Row Motorsports and NASCAR. And a lot of teams are weighing in. Pretty much every NASCAR team, with charters and without, are weighing in on what they would like to see happen. And it seems like all of them are kind of wanting this to go away as quickly as possible. Kind of want NASCAR 2311 and all that to settle, or for NASCAR to win. Just a few quick quotes here. Rick Hendrick says,
Rick who?
The charter agreement is critical to the stability of NASCAR ecosystem. And this is paraphrasing, by the way.
He did that.
Collectively negotiate. Undoing what we have collectively negotiated will not only result in immeasurable damage to our sport and our respective businesses, it will most importantly hurt the people and families that depend on us for their livelihoods. Penske says that I believe the charter system has been beneficial. My belief is the value of NASCAR charter system is confirmed by that fact. Since 2016, I decided to create a charter system in IndyCar. In addition, efficiencies, the next-gen car is enhanced on-track racing for our team and certainly others. Joe Gibbs says the most important thing is that this lawsuit is handled quickly and amicably. Nothing else matters to him. Nothing else matters more to him. Brad Keselowski, although the teams did not get all they wanted in the charter negotiations, the 2025 charter reflects a compromise RFK Racing was ultimately willing to accept. I was approached by a short track series called SRX about driving in the SRX races. I raced in the entire series, which was 6 races in 2023, while continuing as a co-owner and driver in the Cup Series. NASCAR did not prohibit my participation. Cal Wells from Legacy Motorsports has Legacy Motor Club expressed that he believes that the charter system's good. Gordon Smith from Hayek, same thing. John Wood, I believe that the 2016 charter system delivered value to the Wood brothers. I believe that 25 charter delivers even more value. Rick Ware believes that the charter system's good. Richard Childress, as a team owner for many decades, I believe that the concept of NASCAR's charter system giving challenging business model and economics that the Cup Series team owners face, that charters are essential to creating enterprise value for the teams. The charter system has helped create long-term equity value and has grown and has allowed for team equity value to grow. Carl Long from MBM says he likes the charter system, and so does BJ McLeod from Live Fast. So it seems like all the teams are kind of on NASCAR side. Obviously, they're the ones that signed the agreement, so they're not going to come out and say, we hope Legacy Motor Club, or we hope Front Row Motorsports and 2311 win, because they signed the agreement. Of course they agree with the agreement. The other problem is I don't think 2311 and Front Row are trying to get rid of the charter system. I don't think that's their argument. I think what they're saying is NASCAR is unfairly putting into practice things in regards to the charter system. So I think the teams are kind of missing some of the point here with the lawsuit. And I also think that this isn't really going to change anything. I think that the 2311 and the Front Row Motorsports, they believe what they believe, and they think that they can win this lawsuit, and I think they can as well. So I don't know if NASCAR put the teams up to this. It's kind of weird that every single team came out with a statement at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I
felt like NASCAR made them do it.
Yeah, I feel like NASCAR went to these teams and was like, hey, help us out here a little bit. Which I don't know if any of this will even be applicable in the court case. It may or may not be. The judge may consider what the other teams say. But based on the merits of the case, I don't know if it will matter a whole ton. The court case is still going forward. The court date is still set for December. So, I'm not exactly sure what NASCAR and the other teams hope to accomplish by getting these statements out there. Again, I agree with most of what they're saying. Yeah, the charter system has helped them financially. Yeah, the charter system has, given them something to sell when they don't want to participate anymore, which creates value in their organization. But it doesn't really dispute the claims that 2311 is making. The only one that really does is Brad Keselowski, when he says, I raced in another series for 6 races while I was an owner of this series and while I was a driver in this series. So that kind of disputes the fact that NASCAR is monopolizing what they got going on. The problem with that is other drivers race in other series too. That's not really the contention that 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are making. The contention that 2311 Front Row are making is that they can't use their equipment that they own in other series. They don't have a right to take their car out and do what they want to with it, even though they own it. And that NASCAR owns all the tracks, and NASCAR owns
they own the cars,
the intellectual property to the vehicles.
The cars itself.
NASCAR gets to decide what you do with your own property, and NASCAR gets to decide what you do and when based on that. And that is the point of contention, not the fact that they allow guys to go out and drive in the Cars Tour or drive in SRX when it existed, or drive in dirt late models or asphalt late models, or sprint car series like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell and a bunch of other guys. Nobody's contending that, because NASCAR has no say in what you do with your own person. But they do have a say on what you do with your own property, which seems like a monopoly to me. And, that's where FRM and 2311 have a say, and nobody's really addressing that in these statements. So I don't really get the point.
Yeah, it's just weird how all these owners came out there and, like you said, kind of just said great things about the charter system and how it's benefited them and their team, stuff like that. And I get it. It's not like, it's like having freelance work full-time or being on payroll at a company full-time. Obviously, being on payroll, you have more comfortability, you have more security, stability, all that stuff when you're on payroll instead of freelance. Back in the day, it was freelance. I mean, NASCAR every week was freelance. Hey, you come to the track, come whatever track, bring what you want. You're not guaranteed a spot. Better practice and qualify well and make the show, and you'll get the purse money instead of being, hey, you got a charter, your teams are all good for all 36 races. You don't have to worry about not missing a race. It helps sponsors, that helps employees, that helps everything. So I get that, obviously, and like you said, I don't think that's what 2311 and Front Row are necessarily arguing that in this lawsuit. So. At the end of the day, this doesn't mean a ton as far as the lawsuit goes. I feel like these owners, whether it's by NASCAR telling them to, which I guarantee you it is, there's no way all these owners came out there and just wanted to talk about the charter system and how good it was last week.
Out of nowhere.
So, but I feel like they're just getting their voice out there to be like, not everything NASCAR does is awful. And, I don't really know where it goes from here. But, we have said that we're not a huge fan of the charter system. We get it. We feel like it's necessary, especially the way NASCAR is nowadays. It's not as popular as it used to be. We don't have 7-8 million people watching per week like we did back in the heyday in the late 90s and early 2000s. And when you don't have as many people watching, you don't have as many people interested in your sport, you don't have as many big name sponsors and brands interested in your sport anymore. You gotta make sure your teams are financially secure and stable, because if you lose that, then you could see a mountain of falling down for NASCAR. Just you fall down the mountain and you can't recover for some of these teams, and then you only have like 20 cars and it'll be F1. You have the big teams still in it, but then you won't have the Rick Ware Racings, you won't have the Legacy Motor Clubs, you won't have the Front Row of the world, the Front Rows of the world, teams like that, because they just can't afford it, and there's no point. Like we said this all the time. You go if you want to. What's the saying? If you billionaire millionaire shit.
If you want to create a millionaire out of a race team,
you better start with a billion.
You better start with $1 billion.
Yeah, that's the saying I was looking for. So we'll see, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean a whole lot. I just think these NASCAR wanted to make these team owners come out there and say something. We're getting closer and closer to the lawsuit date. It'll be here in 2 months. It's coming. So I just feel like, NASCAR pressured these team owners to say something. And they said it. And, I can't argue with what they're saying, because if I was in their position, I'd say the same thing. Like, you want stability. You want to be guaranteed your spot. You want to, like I said, you lose money in the sport already. So you want to make sure you can, have some type of stability in making every race and being not worrying about that, and going to your sponsors and being like potential sponsors and being like, hey, we're in every race, don't worry about it. So I get it, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter in the whole grand scheme of things.
Yep. So we'll see. Like I said, everybody wants them to settle. I don't see it happening. I think we're going to trial, but so we'll see in December.
Yep.
Hit that button.
RGT.
Ripping the topics.
out of the dark?
No, I'm following you into it.
Okay.
We going back.
Do it.
Going back.
I go back.
I go back to a two-tone short bed Chevy, driving my first love out to the levee.
Kenny Chesney got some bangers.
I go back.
I go back.
I go back.
Whew. I'm out
Well,
of
let's go
breath.
back to Friday and Saturday and talk about these Truck and Xfinity races.
Let's not.
Truck race on Friday at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Very weird for me. I didn't watch a ton of it. We were at the gym. Forgot all about it.
Yeah, our neighbor, old Michael, reminded me.
Thanks, Michael. Michael.
That eye droop.
Had a high drooping. But, yeah, I mean, truck race happened. Corey Heim won. Big surprise there, which, to be fair, he did earn this one. He's earned all 13 or 14 or 15 or 27 that he's won this year. It's 10. But he earned this one. Wrecked on, like, lap 1 and had to drive.
Figure came in like a wrecking ball.
And had to drive his way back up through there and kind of got some help with some cautions and the way things worked out in that race, but ended up winning. So, I mean, if he doesn't win the championship, it's a travesty. He probably won't. But, yeah, I mean, he's just been putting an ass whooping. If he doesn't win the race, it's a surprise. Kind of like Shane Van Gisbergen at road courses. If you pick against him, you're an idiot. So, Xfinity race on Saturday. Really, really good race. Really competitive. A lot of guys were good. A lot of guys were competitive. Who won that race? Fucking Connor Zilic. His 10th win. He's way better than everybody in that series. Kind of like Corey Heim. If he doesn't win the race, you're surprised. It doesn't matter. Super speedway, road course, short track, intermediate. I think they could race backwards on the moon. He'd figure out a way to get it done.
The dark side of the moon.
Yeah, that was a really good race. Really interesting. A lot of comers and goers. A lot of passing. A lot of really, really competitive racing. Like I said earlier in the review for the Roval for the Cup Series, I think the Xfinity race was way better. I think the Xfinity, if the Cup race looked like the Xfinity race, I would be okay with them keeping the Roval because that race was awesome. Unfortunately, it just doesn't. It's
a lot of beating and banging and stuff like that.
It's too hard to pass in the Cup Series. The Xfinity Series, you get a run on a guy, you throw it in there, you beat and bang.
Lose the back tires, get a little squirrely, wheel hop. It's
a better race because the cars aren't designed to do it, and that's what makes it interesting, and that's what makes the good guys so good. Like I said, I mean, the truck race was all right. Xfinity race, one of the better races of the season, in my opinion. Really, really interesting. Kind of reminded me of the early days of the Roval with the Cup Series, kind of the way that they drive there. Yeah, like I said, I think NASCAR looks at the Xfinity race and says, see, this is why we do this. This is why we stay at the Roval.
Yeah.
But the Cup Series just can't put on a race like that.
Yeah, truck race on Friday. I think Brent Cruz had the best truck and just a late race caution. Because Corey was catching him a little bit, but he wasn't going to catch him. He stays out, Brent pits, and he can't make his way back up through there and catch Corey because of all the craziness on the restart and stuff like that. So, Brent should have won that race, but and I give credit to Brent. I mean, he's a hell of a driver, young talent. He's going to be an up and comer in the sport. Great road course racer, obviously. So, but Corey gets it done again. They made the right call. It's like they make the right call a lot when they even don't have the best truck. So, 10th win of the season. He broke Greg Biffle's record in the Truck Series, which is a hell of an accomplishment. That record stood for 25 years, I believe. I think Greg broke it in 1999 or 2000. So, like I said, if they don't win the championship, it's a travesty. But they probably won't. Tom Majeski will probably, if he sneaks into the Final Four, he'll win it because he's so good at Phoenix. And this playoff format's dumb. Xfinity Series, great race. Corey. What the fuck's his name? Connor. All these C names, man. Connor, Corey, Carson, fucking all of them. probably had the best car all day. Justin was very strong. Didn't quite have a good enough car as Connor. Sam Mayer was really good too, but he made some mistakes. Blew through the chicane or something. Didn't stop completely. He had to serve a penalty or something. I think he got in some lap traffic and couldn't make his way back up through there. Carson Quaffle was strong too. Austin Hill was decent till he had transmission problems or something at the end, and he's out of the round of 8 because of he lost all his playoff points based off the Indianapolis incident with him and Eric Almirola. So he's out of the round of 8. Love to see that.
Which he drove a really good race.
He
until
did.
He was going to make it until his motor laid down on him.
Yeah, it's a motor, that's right, not transmission. So, and the cut line thing was crazy between Carson Quaffle and Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray there at the end. You know, Sammy Smith throws a Hail Mary, pitting with like 4 to go or 3 to go, hoping for a caution.
I didn't even talk about that.
And
yeah.
The caution comes out because somebody blows a tire, and Sammy Smith is just the golden. But that was crazy.
Just fell on his lap.
Fell right in his lap. And finished 3rd. He had a good car. Just he got behind a little bit. I forgot what the reason was for that, but he was able to make it. Taylor Gray couldn't. He was average all day and just didn't quite have enough at the end. The caution comes out with 1 to go, and they're trying to figure out, you know, Carson Quaffle, they pitted as well. He was near the cut line. They pitted to be on the offensive side. He made up about 7 or 8 spots on the restart, which allowed him to make it because he made it by like 3 points. So I give Carson Quaffle and that one team a lot of credit for making the right call.
Boy, going to win a championship and lose his ride.
I'd be all right with that. But so that was crazy. It took him like 25 minutes to figure it out, which I don't know why it took him that long. But you know, you want to make sure you get it right. So I get it. You want to make the process a little quicker. I think, you know, it was like the Christopher Bell and
I'd rather it be right.
William Byron thing from Martinsville last year. It took like 20 minutes to figure out who was going to make it to Phoenix. So, but like I said, you want to get it right. You don't want to make a mistake and say it and then like, oh, wait a minute, we got it wrong, and then change it, and then all that stuff. So I was kind of cheering for Taylor Gray to make the round of 8. And that's weird coming from me from how much I don't like Toyota, but you know what happened at Martinsville earlier in the season between them two, and then for him to get the short end of the stick again, that sucks for Taylor Gray. Just couldn't. Wasn't his year. So
always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, so that kind of sucks for that 54 team, but they didn't do quite enough to make it. They've not been a.
Joe Gibbs kind of sucked this year in the Xfinity.
Yeah,
series.
it's been really Eric Almirola, and that's it. Winning races for them. So they got to figure out their Xfinity program. I hope they don't, but they got to. But you know that was interesting. Just the cut line kind of on Saturday like it was on Sunday. So overall, that race was great. Cut line drama at the end was entertaining and fell into Sammy Smith's lap, and you know Taylor Gray didn't quite get it done at the end. So both races were solid, but the Xfinity race was the best race of the weekend by far.
Yep. With that being said, NASCAR 2025 coming out this week. Comes out the 14th. So what is that? A week from today?
It's the 7th today.
Yeah. So seven days to come out next Tuesday. So technically not this week. However, if you did pre-order the race, paid the $80 gold version, you can play it. What they're saying is Friday at midnight, or Thursday at midnight going into Friday. However, from what I've heard, Bill Radman said on his YouTube, which I don't watch a ton of his stuff, but he said on his YouTube channel that if you have that $80 version pre-ordered, you might gain access to it at 6 p.m. on Thursday. Somewhere in between there and midnight, so you can play it early.
Did you pre-order
on that? I did not.
I didn't either.
One thing I do want to say, there's been some more news that's come out. I don't think we've talked about. No burnouts.
Yeah, I don't like that.
After wins, I don't think you can change left side tires.
Only.
Yeah. So if you take 2, it's always rights.
Which kind of makes sense because you rarely ever see lefts.
Yeah, but it does happen.
It does.
It does happen. Say you get a left side flat.
That's just the animation. I don't understand why they couldn't put that in.
Say you get a left side flat and you want a quick pit stop. Change lefts, get off. Maybe you change rights on super speedways, and then you go in next time and you want to change your lefts to keep your pit time.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. So that's kind of dumb. Some other things that have come out recently is that if there's a track that is specific to a series, you can only race that series there. So tracks like...
You can't race the trucks at Chicago.
Yeah. You can't race... I don't know. I can't think of one right off the top
The
of the
trucks at Mexico.
head. Yeah. Well, you can't race anywhere at Mexico because
You can't
Mexico's
race the
not in
Cup
the game.
Series at Lime Rock.
Exactly. Another thing that they said, which I haven't been able to find what they're replacing Mexico with in the Cup Series for the season or the career, but the Xfinity, Portland's not in the race or in the game, so the Portland race will be replaced by Michigan. So they'll have a Michigan race in that spot. So all in all, I am still excited for this game, but the closer we get to it, the more I'm kind of getting nervous that this game's not going to be what I expect it to be. And I don't know if that's based on this game or based on how many times we've been burned in the past. But I'm nervous, and that's kind of why I hadn't pre-ordered it yet. I am going to buy the game. I think it is going to be better than everything we've had for the past 10 years. But
Now, can you play at midnight on Tuesday?
if you don't pre-order the game,
Yeah.
yeah, I would think so.
Okay,
It would
good.
come,
That's what I'm gonna
I
do.
think it would come out Monday night at midnight.
That's what I'm saying, because I have to stay up that night.
Yeah,
anyway,
so I think it would be
that's
out
why I'm going to buy it.
at that time. But like I said, I am nervous about this game. There's some things about it, like no choose cone, which I get it. That might be tough to implement, but it's a very important part of racing nowadays. Restarts are so important that, the choose is super important, especially when it comes to like super speedway racing, getting in the right line, road course racing, getting in the right line. It's very, very, very important when it comes down to a late race caution or into the stage or whatever, that you can pick your line, and they're not allowing you to do it. The pit stop stuff, I get some of it, like not controlling your car on pit road. I don't need to do that. Not in an arcade, a simcade game like this is going to be. But there's certain things that are not in the game that you would just expect from a NASCAR racing game.
The burnouts is the most attractive.
Same thing I've been saying
travesty.
for years. Like NASCAR 2004, which is my favorite. I think it's your favorite as well. A lot of people like 2003 better, which I didn't play a ton of that.
2003 is very good.
But,
It is.
there are things in that game that aren't in this one. And I just don't understand how they could implement it in 2004, but we can't figure out how to put it in a game 21 years later. It just doesn't make any sense to me why I can't decide what tires I want to change on pit road. And why I can't do a burnout. And it's not going to be, I'm not buying this game because of this, but when I play a video game, when I play College Football 25, 26, when I play Madden, when I play MLB The Show, NBA 2K, whatever, any sports games you want to say, I want to simulate what
Real
I
life.
see
Yeah.
in real life. I want to go in there and I want to do what I see on television. I want to race the race and make the calls. I want to simulate, a 7-game series with the Avalanche. I want to simulate South Carolina football. And for some reason, all sports games in general, they just have a really tough time of figuring out how to implement what you see on TV and what you see at the stadium, what you see at the racetrack, and putting it in a video game. And I don't understand why they can't figure out how to do it. But it seems like NASCAR 25 is going to have a problem with that as well. I'm giving them a pass in certain things because it is the first game, and hopefully they can implement some of these things as they go forward. But there are certain things that you would expect to be in a game, and, being able to do everything that they do on race day is one of them. And not being able to pick what line I'm restarting in, not being able to change left side tires, just a big red flag to me.
Yeah, obviously the burnout thing is the most confusing thing. I don't understand why you can't just do a burnout after a race when you can do a countdown clock. I think it might have been NASCAR Inside Line. You had like a countdown, like you had a minute to burn it down. Do that. Just do a countdown clock. if you're struggling with, going from a burnout to victory lane or whatever, do that. If you just when it's certain time, cut it off. No matter what you're doing, you could be in the mid burnout. You could be doing the Alan Kulwicki victory lap, and if you ain't quite got to the end of the track, then it is what it is. But at least I can do something after I win. I win, and I just go to victory lane. It's like that's not real. That's not what everybody does. Nobody does that. Like you want it, like you said, the simulation thing. You want it to feel realistic as realistic as you can, and without doing a burnout, that's a huge problem for me. And the tire situation, that sucks. Not a lot of people do it, but it is a strategy sometimes people implement. That's just an animation thing. I don't understand why.
Jeff Gordon won a race at New Hampshire, taking left sides. Pretty sure they cheated, but No.
Hey, do what you gotta do. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So that I don't really like that either. The races that you can't race in other series at tracks that they didn't actually go to. I'm fine with that because that's not realistic. That goes back to the realism thing. I'm fine. That's not a huge thing for me, So, I kind of, as closer we get, the more nervous you are, the more nervous I am as well. I think it'll be playable, and like I said, that's the most important part of this game. If I can have fun playing it, there can be some flaws along the way. The NASCAR U Technics games, I go back to these all the time. They were fun to race. The games itself were not that good. But you go and race at Kansas in the new Technics games. Dude, those things were fucking amazing. Those races were so fun to drive. You could choose multiple lines. I found my little line at Kansas in 3 and 4. I was so good up there at the top, the high line, and and it was so fun. I was ripping the top, coming from 10th to 1st. Stuff like that. And like I said, as long as it's fun to race and as long as it's fun to play and you got stuff that works, I can deal with some stuff out of it. The burnout thing is the thing that I just cannot figure out. But at the end of the day, if it's fun to race, fun to drive, you have realism along the way. You don't have no bullshit call. You don't have any cautions at all unless you're causing them. I hope they have that in the game. A lot of the NASCAR games, all the NASCAR games in the past have had problems with AI cautions. Because you have them. Rarely do you ever have a race go from green to checker. Now, obviously, with stages and stuff, you never will. But even in the old NASCAR games, when you had, 100 laps, if you did like 25% races, you would never have a caution unless you caused it. Like, you want the realism of people, the AI mess it up. I get that's a difficult thing to do, but it happens. And you want to put that and implement that in the game. So I hope they have that. And, we'll see. But definitely some stuff that I wish they would have had. But like you said, it's the first game with iRacing doing this. So you cut them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But for next year's game, if it is good, if it's fun to play, and we have some progress, and you have a lot of people playing it, I would like for a lot of this stuff to be figured out and fixed in the next game.
Yeah, for sure. Denny, after the race... What? That's fake. It's AI.
That's a big pumpkin.
It is. So Denny, after the race on Sunday, gets out of the car. He's being interviewed, and he tells the interviewer for USA that, he had no idea that Ross was in a points battle and, what the implications were for him passing Ross, and didn't really know what was going on. Obviously Ross gets passed by Denny, drives into the last chicane on the front stretch and just takes him out, and they're both in reverse trying to
put in reverse there,
back it across the line. And then I think Noah Lewis posted on YouTube Denny talking to Chris Gale, and pretty angrily saying, like, why the fuck did I not know what was going on? Why didn't you tell me that Ross was, 1 point to the good, and if I passed him, he's out? Why didn't you tell me that this was what was going on? I wouldn't have passed him. And I've seen a lot of people get upset that Denny said that because they're under the impression that that's meaning that he wouldn't have passed him because he wanted Ross to make it and that he didn't want Joey in. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think it might have something to do with it. But when you think about it, Joey and Denny, not the best of friends. Ross and Denny, not the best of friends. So I don't think it's, hey, this is my buddy. I'm not going to pass him because I want to, cut him a break here. I think it's more that, hey, I don't want to put myself in a situation to get taken out. And, why would I race this guy super hard for one position when I know he has to make it? And I've seen what he's done in the past to advance, and I've seen what he's done in the past to get a position. Why would I jeopardize my whole race at this stage to get one position? Doesn't make a ton of sense. And he's upset that Chris didn't give him that information, and lo and behold, he got taken out and lost a couple positions based on it. So I understand Denny's frustration. I understand that you want to have that information in the race car. But I also understand Chris Gale not telling him because it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't affect you at all in this race. And why would I tell you information that doesn't apply? Why would I tell you information that's not going to help you or hurt you in this situation? So I get why Chris didn't tell him. But when it all comes down to it, having information is never a bad thing. Denny's the one with the wheel in his hand. He's the one that has to make that decision. I think he should be the one that has all the information and gets to make the decision what he does with the steering wheel and with the pedals. But I also, like I said, I understand Chris not giving him that information because it doesn't matter to Denny at that point. It's not going to help his race at all, knowing what Ross is doing. But if I was a driver, I would have wanted that information as well.
So you want me to just end that argument real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Freddie Kraft on Door Purple Clear on their podcast yesterday. NASCAR had a meeting with all the spotters and teams at some point during the weekend and said, if you're not on the cut line, you do not tell your drivers about the point situation. So they could not. Denny Hamlin, they were told not to tell Denny Hamlin about it.
Well, that's fair.
That's why they didn't.
Makes sense then.
So that's what I'm saying. So, I get Denny's frustration, and maybe Denny wasn't relayed that they had a meeting during the weekend saying, hey, if you're not on the cut line or you're in a bubble situation, we're not allowed to tell you the other drivers on points and stuff like that. And my wife actually brought it to me when I woke up this afternoon. She told me about it, and she's like, well, Joey's people were telling him about the point situation, and I think Ross was too. Or I think she just said Joey. It's like, how is that not
They were
cheating?
on the cut line.
They were on the cut. That's what I told her. I said it's different because they
had to know who they had to pass.
know, the situation on points. Denny Hamlin is, 30-something points to the good?
Yeah,
it does not affect him at all. That's what I tried to explain to her. So, and I get Denny's frustration there, and maybe that message wasn't received of we had a meeting. NASCAR told the spotters not to tell their drivers about non-playoff guys and the playoff guys that were good on points for the most part, not to tell them about the playoff and the cut line situation to affect the race manipulation part. You get back to the Chevys at Martinsville and Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell situation at Martinsville.
I read somewhere
last
today,
year.
I don't know if you saw this, I read somewhere, I think we were at the gym, I was scrolling through Facebook, and
not working out, surprise.
Somebody, I got done before you. I saw somebody that said that the 48 was told not to pass the one at the end.
Oh, really?
So,
Well, if that's the case, then that should be something.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I did read that the 48 was told, hey, don't pass the one on the last lap, because he was right there with the 11, the 47.
11 the 47.
Yeah. Because the 11, it was the 11, it was the 1, the 11, the 47, and then the 48.
Yeah.
And the 48 was faster than all of them. And
He was too far back, though.
he was right on 47's ass, who was right on the 11's ass. Coming through the first turn on the last lap.
Oh.
So
I have to rewatch that. But Yeah, so if that's the case, then we got a problem with the 48 because they were told not to do that. So I don't know how I feel about that. I get it.
Race manipulation.
It's race manipulation. So if you tell guys that are not on the cut line, it's a fine line. It's a gray area though, because let's say Denny Hamlin was 7 points to the good instead of 38 or whatever he was. He gets spun out there, loses 7 spots.
Yeah.
He's out of the playoffs.
Is that the cut line?
Yeah. What is the definition of a cut line? That's where it gets tricky. Like, what's the threshold? Is it 5 points, 7 points, 10 points? Like, I don't like that because it's just it's very gray.
What if
like it could happen?
It's a big what if. What if Ross is running second? You're running third. The guy in first blows up. Ross wins the race, and now that Ross wins the race, knocks you out of playoffs.
Yeah, and
You're not on the cut line when you're telling him all this information.
Yeah,
but that's why the playoffs
it's stupid.
Are stupid because you're putting teams in situations where they should be giving these guys this information.
Yeah,
and they can't because they're worried about race manipulation.
Yeah, and that's why I don't blame Ross for doing what he did. He had to. We've seen Kevin Harvick do that at Martinsville in 2020.
That was wrong when Kevin did it. It was wrong when Ross did it.
Yeah, it's wrong, but you don't blame him for doing it.
To me, it's
like I don't blame Christopher Bell for doing what he did at Martinsville last year for riding the wall. It was stupid. He didn't have to do it because Bubba was giving him the position. Whether Freddie Kraft or whatever they say, they stayed out on track with a tire going down, and they stayed out for 2 laps because they knew the 20 needed a spot.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me that was not planned. And the Chevy thing was wrong too, but the 3 and the 1 not passing the 24, that was wrong as well. They were both wrong. So, if you get rid of these playoffs, you won't have this shit.
Is the 1 taking out the 11 there any different than what Austin Dillon did at Richmond last year? I don't.
Not
think so.
really. I mean, Austin Dillon's case, it was worse.
Because he wrecked 3 drivers to win the race.
Well, 2, but
I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he drove in way too deep, took out a guy.
So
now, he didn't right hook nobody into the.
So let me ask you a question: If he gets in there, wrecks Denny, and keeps on going,
that's the question.
Does he get to advance? And I would say, based on precedent, no.
Yeah.
Because he intentionally wrecked another driver.
Yeah.
To advance in the playoffs, and they said last year with the Austin Dillon situation, and I agree with it. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So.
That would have been. They're lucky that they didn't get put in that position.
Yeah, and I don't think they would have made that call. I think they should have, but I don't think they would have.
Yeah. I don't know. Then you go back to. Yeah, it's just a mess situation. I don't know. They should, but I don't know if they would have. I don't know.
Well, I've been saying for years, this playoff format it makes it interesting for maybe a couple races.
It makes racing not racing.
Yeah, it turns it into guessing, and it turns it into hoping, and it turns it into how far can I push this and see what NASCAR makes a call on. And that's just, I'd rather the guys line up every week for 36 weeks, and the guy at the end wins the championship. But
I digress.
Yep. Hit that button.
Attaboy.
Attaboy. Go ahead.
Attaboy. I'm going to give my attaboy this weekend a couple good guys to pick from, but I mentioned them earlier. I'm going to give mine to, what the fuck is his name? Brent Cruz in the Truck Series. Led a lot of laps on Friday. Probably should have won the race if it wasn't for a late race caution. I forgot how young he is, but he's I think he's like 18, 19. And he almost won the race straight up against Corey Heim. I get Corey Heim out of a beaten up truck, but he was outrunning him, and he's outrunning Connor Zillage, who was in the truck race as well, who I think his truck was fine. He's running for Spire in the 7 car. Huh?
He's 17.
17. So he did a great job on Friday. playoff race. A lot of these truck drivers are going to go for it. Try to put the best cars or trucks they can. And Brent put an ass whooping on them for the most part. Didn't get the job done at the end, but that's kind of just off a. Could say it was a bad call by them, but if they stay out, pretty much everybody else pits, and then he's probably screwed in the long run. But overall, he did a great job on Friday. Should have won the race, and he went against some strong competition at the end of the day. Just couldn't quite get it done. His teammate gets it done. So, Tricon Garage with a 1-2-3. I could give it to Tricon Garage. 1-2-3 is very impressive. We've seen Corey do it all year, but we've kind of seen the other couple cars struggle. And they didn't on Friday night. Giovanni's been solid all year, but he hadn't been nearly as good, obviously, as Corey. I mean, nobody's been as good as Corey, but it's been Corey and kind of everybody else at Tricon, but they did great on Friday. And then, one race where I think, not Corey Haim had his teammate had the better car or truck. So, Attaboy, Brent Cruz didn't get the job done at the end of the day, but he should have. And for him to go against Corey Haim and Connor Zillage and all these truck guys that were on the playoffs that needed a good run, they did a great job and should have won the race. So, Attaboy, Brent Cruz.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I'm going to give mine to Austin Green. Austin Green is, for those of you that don't know, he is David Green's son, nephew of Jeff Green, obviously, NASCAR racers from early 2000s. Really good road course racer, does a lot of sports car stuff, raced in SCCA, the Trans Am series that they do there, races a Ford Mustang and sometimes a Camaro over there. He's run some Xfinity stuff for Jordan Anderson in the past, but this weekend probably should have won the race. Was really, really good all day. Not perfect. Didn't have the best car by any means, but as far as the cautions laid out, he was second on that restart and had a really, really good restart. Just kind of got beat by the best guy in the field. If it was anybody else, I think Austin Green wins that race. And for a team like Jordan Anderson that doesn't really compete a ton other than really super speedway stuff, for him to run second there and to put his skills on display and get that car into second when he doesn't run every week and doesn't have a ton of Xfinity experience. I think he's got 8 races, or he's got 19 races over the last 2 years. He's got 8 top 10s. He does a really good job in that car when they run on road courses. I'd like to see him get a full-time shot because I think he's got the talent to be there. And would be interesting to see. I like seeing those guys, those family guys, get opportunities. Guys like Jeff Burton and guys that carry on the legacy of their family racing in NASCAR is awesome. So seeing him finish second, I was kind of rooting for him to win the race at the end there, but obviously didn't really have a shot with it, and definitely when that caution came out. But yeah, attaboy, Mr. Green.
Mr. Green. Hit that button for You Can't Do That.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Give my You Can't Do That to Trevor Lawrence.
What? They won the game.
Hey, I'll say this. I think my favorite team to watch right now, other than the Denver Broncos in the NFL, is Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't like Jaguars. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. But that defense is really fun to watch. Those motherfuckers hit, boy. They remind me of a team from late 90s, early 2000s. They out there trying to take heads off, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Which head?
They was both. They was out there hitting last night on Monday Night Football. It was a very, very fun game to watch. But I'm going to give mine to Trevor Lawrence.
What did he do?
This is not the first time we've seen this, and it won't be the last time, but it's kind of like fumbling the ball in the end zone. You should know by now not to do that. You can't pick your nose on the sideline.
Oh.
It's
a NASCAR podcast, brother.
But this shit, I mean, that's bad. I mean, everybody picks their nose. Don't tell me you don't. It happens. You got a booger in there sometimes. You got to get it out. I get it. but you're going to get clowned on the internet for
Yeah.
it. And my man, I think he was almost 3 knuckles deep. I mean, if that man wasn't poking his brain, he was close. That man was
His brain was itching.
deep in that mug. And, I mean, you just can't do that. You know the camera's on you on the sideline. My man's in there digging for gold. I think he ate it. I don't know. I think he did. He looked like he was gonna. He looks like a guy that eats his bookers. But you just can't do that on the sideline of an NFL Monday night primetime football game when you're in this bitch and you're playing one of the better games you played in your career. I mean, the camera is on you and you're digging for gold on the sideline. Come on, Trevor. You can't do that.
Hey, that's what it takes for him to be good. Keep on digging, brother. Keep on digging. Oh, that's funny. Obviously, I'm gonna give mine. You can't do that to Ross Chastain. The collapse.
I was going to give it to him until you
You know, we hadn't really talked about it, which is our fault. But Ross fell apart. Well, obviously, we sung about it at the beginning of the episode. We didn't talk about how he fell apart. Ross on pit road. Second stop, maybe, after a stage break.
decides not to leave the pit road.
He doesn't turn when he needs to turn off pit road. And
Blew the corner.
has to stop. Yeah, he blew a corner going 45 miles an hour. Like
I make that turn on my Jeep Patriot.
That takes a lot of skill to blow a corner going that slow. So Ross just having a brain fart there. And then on the last pit stop, or second to last pit stop, I believe. I think it might have been the last one. Second to last. He upshifts by accident, or he goes from second to fourth, I believe, and speeds on pit road because he has his, he's going too fast.
First to third.
First to third, sorry. And gets a pit road speeding penalty at the most crucial time of the race.
Probably finishes top 10 if he doesn't do that.
He does, and he advances without any of this bullshit at the end. And Ross choked it away, man. He fell apart, and the pressure got to him, and
Reggie Miller.
He allowed Joey Logano to sneak into the playoffs when I think Ross has been better than Joey for most of this playoff run, and you can't blame it on your team, you can't blame it on the car, you can't blame it on anything but yourself. And Ross took ownership of it and then at the end, and said you work all year, work all your life to execute in these situations, and you don't do it, and it's just gut wrenching, and you just feel terrible. I feel terrible for Ross. As much as, even if you don't like Ross, if you see somebody collapse, it's hard to watch because you know how hard they want it, how hard they work for it. This is their life. It's what they do every day. It's what they train for. It's what they want to do. And when they comes down to it and they fall apart, it's like, man, that's rough. That's rough to watch. And you saw the dejection on Ross's face there doing his interview, and he was beating himself up, and he deserves it. He deserves to feel like that. It sucks for him, but at the end of the day, it's on him, and he's got to execute better. And he let the moment get the best of him, and he was pressing, and he cost himself a chance to win the championship. And at the end of the day, if you do that, you can't do that. So just a tough day for Ross when I think he had a really good car, and he cost himself and his team a chance to race for a championship. So Ross Chastain, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Well, we got Las Vegas this
I
weekend.
was about to say Atlanta.
I wish we did. But no, it's Las Vegas this weekend.
Fuck it, put Atlanta in the last race of the
Let's
season.
do it.
Like they used to do.
I'm expecting a pretty good race this weekend.
I'm not.
If Kansas would have gone differently a couple weeks ago, I probably wouldn't. But Kansas was an awesome race. Now, I don't expect it to be Kansas, but
Not in Kansas anymore.
it's I expect a good race this weekend. I expect playoff guys, the last 8 guys, to be very good. If there's going to be one that isn't, I expect Joey Logano to kind of be bringing up the rear as far as playoff guys go. You might see some non-playoff guys be competitive, especially some of the guys that were eliminated already that are going to be good on mile and a halves. Guys like the 45, maybe the 23 might be good this weekend. without the pressure to playoffs. They can just go in and race, try to win a race. Josh Berry.
This will be the race of Tyler Reddick and them show out what they've been trying to do all year.
You got
after they get eliminated.
Exactly. Josh Berry won this race in the spring. Wouldn't be surprised if he's good this weekend.
Daniel Suarez almost won it.
Daniel Suarez. The Roush guys wouldn't be surprised if Brad Keselowski or Chris Buescher, they show up to a mile and a half every now and again and are really competitive. I don't expect them to go win the race or anything, but for them, I wouldn't be surprised if they're decent. But when it comes down to it, I think the playoff guys are going to be the ones that win the race, the guys that are in the top 5, top 10 towards the end of it, as long as, there's not a ton of attrition throughout the race, which I don't really expect. Vegas doesn't really do that often. So, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't come down to 14 restarts at the end and guys saving fuel and somebody stretching it 40 laps longer than they thought they could. But if it does, look for a Ford to win because it seems like those Fords get the best fuel mileage. But I'm looking at either Ryan Blaney from the Fords or any of the Joe Gibbs cars or maybe the 5 or the 9 to be the guys that are wrapping this thing up at the end of the day. So, we'll see. But like I said, I think it's going to be a super competitive race, and hopefully it comes down to guys racing on the track and not a lucky yellow or something like that ends it up.
Yeah, I don't expect a whole lot from this race. Las Vegas has been a weird track with this next-gen car. It's a mile and a half, so you expect it to put on good racing considering Charlotte and Kansas and have been putting on banger after banger for most of the time this next-gen car. But Vegas has kind of struggled with that. And I don't know if it's just because of how it's a little narrower than normal mile and a halves. And, you can use multiple lines, but it's just, I guess if you go for it at Vegas, you might, fuck up and hit the wall and end your day really quickly. So, I'm expecting a decent race, but not a great one. Like I said, all these playoff guys, it's the most important race of the year, other than the championship race at Phoenix if you make it that far. So, all these playoff teams are going to put in everything, and I think you'll have one or two guys that press and miss it and overstep or wreck. I mean, we saw last year here at this track, we had 3 playoff guys wreck in one damn restart with Reddick flipping down the fucking front stretch and Chase Elliott getting taken out and Ryan Blaney getting taken out. And, that was a terrible day for me. And then Logano wins on fuel mileage at the end. It was just that was an awful day. So, you could have that again on the restart. A playoff guy overstepping his boundaries, on coming off 4. 4 narrows up a lot more than you think it does. Play a NASCAR game and you go race in Las Vegas. That motherfucker comes up really quick. That little hump off of 4. I mean, you think you're good, and then you pound the wall, and you're like, oh, fuck. So that could happen. Pit road's going to be important. We've seen a lot of teams in these playoffs kind of fall apart on pit road. You can't do that here at this track. If you do it, you got to do it early. But even then, you're going to cost yourself playoff points, and how tight this playoff cut line could be at the end of the day. If you don't have you have a good run in stage 1, and you got a pit, and you lose 7-8 positions because you had a bad pit stop and you don't get any stage points. That could be the reason why you don't make the championship 4 on points if you don't win a race. Denny Hamlin mainly talk about him, or even the 12, they've had pit road problems this year too. So, pit road's going to be important as always, and then according to how the caution comes out. If you get a, caution on the edge of a fuel run, Las Vegas, you throw it in, gamble. You take a team like a Joe Logano, like they seem like they always do, try to stretch it on fuel, get no more caution in the race, and then they wind up winning it or getting like a second or third out of it and having a great day. So, never know on that. So I can see all that happening, but I think Joe Gibbs Racing is going to be strong. I think 20 and the 5 are the 2 teams to beat. 12 can sneak in there as well, but those are the main 2 I'm thinking.
Yeah. With that being said, you said the 12 and the 5?
20 and the 5.
The 20 and the 5. Why did I say 12? I knew you said 20. So I would throw the 12 in there as well. I think Blaney's going to be very good. I think he's been the best team, best car as far as speed, race winning speed goes past couple months. I do think the 5 is going to be really good, and I think if he's going to make it to the next round, to the final round, he's going to have to be really, really good here because, like you said earlier, Talladega, is a hit or miss track for him in general, and it's a hit or miss track for everybody just based on the style of racing. And then I don't really have any confidence in him going in there to Martinsville and having a good day. So with that being said, give me Ryan Blaney this weekend. I think Blaney is going to win the race. I think Blaney is going to solidify his second championship run starting this weekend. I do think that Ryan Blaney is the guy to beat right now for the championship.
Last one picking him.
And I think he's going to win the race this weekend, and I think he's going to go into Phoenix with the car to beat and probably win Phoenix. So the guy that wins this race has a really good chance of winning the championship. So for that 12 car to win the championship, it'd be very important for him to win this weekend and get that round of 4 started early. So give me Blaney.
Hope you're right. But I'm going to go with Christopher Bell this weekend. Should have won this race last year. He's been very strong at this track, been very close in the past. You think about last year, almost passing Logano in the last lap, saving fuel, couldn't quite get it done, had the best car all day. 2023, he was right there on Larson's ass, and on the last lap, couldn't quite get it done there either. So I think Las Vegas owes Christopher Bell one. They're on a roll, and I think he'll get the job done, lock himself in the championship 4, and he will be a problem at Phoenix because then they can take Talladega and Martinsville off and focus on Phoenix, and I think that's the one guy that I think will contend with the Penske boys if Blaney or Logano makes
I picked
championship
him at
4
the
as
beginning
well.
of the season to win the championship.
So I think give me Christopher Bell this weekend to get it done. I think that team's ready to get back in championship 4 and be a problem when it comes to Phoenix. But one of the best tracks, one of Christopher Bell's best tracks. So been wanting this one for a while, and I think he's going to get it done on Sunday.
Yeah, well, with that being said, got the Avs tonight.
Give up.
Hockey's back. South Carolina playing LSU this weekend.
Big L.
7:45. Going to go in there and whoop that ass.
Go Tigers.
Hey.
It don't feel too good, does it?
Hey, I ain't worried about it. They've not looked.
Hey, by the way,
They've
we
not looked
mentioned
great.
this at the beginning of the episode. Clemson won.
Hey, they did, and South Carolina didn't lose.
I don't know. It was close on their bye week.
It was, but
I think he won by field goal.
exactly. But big weekend coming up for both of us. Who y'all got this weekend?
BC.
Got to beat Boston College if y'all want to stay in the hunt to make a bowl game.
The hunter. I'm about to say the hunter for what?
If y'all are looking to make a bowl game, y'all might want to win this one. But
Yeah, Boston College is not good. Like North Carolina.
I don't
So
think
they should win.
I don't think they've won a game yet.
Who?
Boston College.
Yeah, they were 1-4, 1-5.
Maybe they beat a FCS.
I know they have a win.
But big weekend for college football. Big weekend for NASCAR. Big weekend for the NFL.
Penultimate race.
And
Or not
hockey's back.
penultimate.
So with that being said, that's what I'll be doing all weekend. I'm off. I'll be watching sports. And, yeah, it's a great time of year to be a sports fan.
Yeah, I got to work this weekend again. But luckily, I guess, maybe it's luck that Clemson doesn't play till 7:45 Saturday at Boston College. So it's a night game. So I'll be able to get off work and watch it. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see. But, yeah, NASCAR, be watching that on Sunday while I'm at work if I can. And, yeah, that's about it. So,
Follow us on the all socials, TikTok,
Highline Podcast,
YouTube,
the Highline Podcast,
Instagram, Facebook,
the Highline Official, and the Highline.
and, of course, send this to your friends and family, your enemies.
Follow the show
on
on
Spotify
Apple,
and
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts.
at the Highline. Hit the notification bell.
Ding ding, drink a beer, shotgun a Coca-Cola, whatever you want to
shotgun a
do. That would
Coca-Cola.
suck.
That
but,
would suck.
Do all that, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Yes. Amen.
Go Cox.
Go Tigers.